match somebody's powers who's that big and that much mass. You know, the only thing that allowed me to be excited because I threw it faster than the other guys.
More explosive. How did you explode like that? Was that natural?
No, nothing's natural. I was nothing about me natural. Only my desire to win was natural. I had a great teacher.
Did he instill that desire in you, your coach?
No, only you can do that.
Yeah.
You're born with it and somebody can elicit it out of you.
Man, you must be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, always, always. You know, when I step in the ring, I step in like I'm the champ. Even before I was a champion, I step in like I'm the champ. If you don't have the will to win.
Yeah. Okay. One second.
Good, brother. You're good?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm good. Been putting in the work. So last I had a tournament, he was in there as well.
Yeah.
So I was in the final with him. And in the second round, he surprised me with a spinning back fist.
Yeah.
Right to the chin. I was like, oh my God, my face was on the canvas. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
Maybe at first these guys start winning, but the more you fight them, then you get better. They might win 5-0, the next thing you might win 3-0, the next thing you might beat them. You know,
100%.
One Mike Tyson, the most feared heavyweight of his era, standing quietly at ringside in the Netherlands watching a 6'5", 270-pound Dutch giant unleash combinations across the gym floor. And he isn't laughing. He isn't doubting. He's smiling.
Your guys can't get discouraged. You'll lose, you'll get knocked out. I've been knocked out, lost. When you don't quit in life, good stuff happens at the end. I know great fighters that get knocked out their first pro fight, and then they beat somebody in their 10th fight, and then they never lost again. Discipline is doing what we hate to do, but doing it like we love it. If your guys can get that working, you're gonna be.
As Tyson sees something most of the boxing world refuses to acknowledge. He sees a giant who can genuinely fight.
You know, let's get all three of you guys together. See through the fighting, man.
We're gonna have to fight the 4th of November. What's that look like?
This is the story of one of the strangest heavyweight title fights modern boxing has ever witnessed. A matchup so controversial that even the WBC originally rejected it before eventually changing course. A fight where a man with just one professional boxing victory is stepping into the ring against arguably the greatest technical heavyweight boxer alive today. And standing behind it all is Iron Mike Tyson, quietly helping shape the monster preparing for Oleksandr Usyk. But to understand why this fight has captured so much attention, you have to go back years before the headlines and the controversy. Because the man walking into that ring on May 23rd did not appear overnight. He was built over more than a decade into something combat sports had never truly seen before. So let's go back to the beginning. Verhoeven was only 5 years old when his father, a karate black belt, first introduced him to martial arts training. From that moment on, he never looked like an underdog again. By the end of his glory kickboxing career, Verhoeven had built an incredible record of 66 wins, 10 losses, 21 knockouts, and one of the most dominant championship reigns the sport had ever seen. He holds GRE records for most heavyweight title fight wins, most consecutive title defenses, longest winning streak, and most victories in the organization's history. 513 title defenses.
Yeah, for me, it was like, why not accept the challenge? It is, like you said, he's considered arguably like one of the best boxers to ever do it. So what an honor and what an opportunity I have. I've conquered everything within the sport of kickboxing, and now getting the opportunity to do it within the sport of boxing, I love it. Like, never get comfortable.
Successful nights against some of the most dangerous heavyweight kickboxers on the planet. Names like Badr Hari, Jamal Ben Sadek, and Alistair Overeem. Enrico didn't just beat them, he systematically broke them down. Every time someone looked capable of dethroning him, Verhoeven elevated his level again. What made him terrifying wasn't just his size or punching power. It was the frightening combination of both mixed with elite timing and movement. At 270 pounds, Verhoeven moved with the awareness and reactions of a much smaller athlete. He understood range naturally, and once he found his distance, once that right hand landed clean, opponents usually stayed down for a long time.
Training day was first and check my sleep spot.
Then in November 2025, Verhoeven shocked combat sports completely. He walked away from Glory, vacated the heavyweight championship, declined to renew his contract, and stepped away from kickboxing entirely. Not because he was losing, not because he was finished, but because he wanted something bigger. He wanted boxing, and not just any boxing match. He wanted Oleksandr Usyk. When the fight was first announced, the reaction across boxing was brutal, and Fabio Wardley made sure everybody heard exactly how he felt. Wardley had earned interim WBC status and expected his own shot at Usyk after defeating Joseph Parker. Instead, Usyk chose a crossover fight against a kickboxer with a 1-0 boxing record. Wardley's reaction was cold and direct.
Look, I think it was the same as kind of the rest of the boxing world. It was quite underwhelming. I even said it myself, I understand that he's kind of earned the right to do what you want, but I at least expected it to be some sort of active boxer, someone of some... Not to say, I don't actually know much about Van Hooven in terms of a kickboxer, of what his quality level is, but what I'm saying is I expected it to be someone of a decent caliber of a professional boxer. But if it's not, then fine. Look, do your thing, do you, and hopefully he returns to actual professional boxing against some of the top elites.
I think he said Usyk had earned the right to choose his path, but that didn't automatically make the decision fair. And honestly, many boxing purists agreed with him. A legitimate interim champion who had done everything required was suddenly pushed aside, so boxing could sell spectacle over merit. But here's what many critics failed to realize. The spectacle is the sport now. The pyramids of Giza, Mike Tyson in the corner, an undefeated heavyweight king facing a challenger who has never lost a championship in his combat sports career. Whether the matchmaking feels traditional or not, the story itself is impossible to ignore.
He's going to fight Usyk next, or Usyk will have to vacate the title.
What against David Benavidez? Is that out there for you then?
He's the number one. The WBC will order it. And if he's the interim champion, if he doesn't fight him, they'll have to vacate the title. That's why he's with us.
You want Usyk?
Yeah, why not? I'm the number one contender. I want only the best spot challenge. I think the best spot challenges from Usyk.
Then the WBC stepped in and pushed the controversy even further. At first, they refused to sanction the fight. A kickboxer with one professional boxing win challenging for the heavyweight championship of the world sounded absurd even by modern standards. So initially, the answer was no. But after further review, the WBC reversed its decision. Their reasoning centered around Usyk's elite resume and Verhoeven's status as arguably the most accomplished heavyweight combat athlete of the past decade. The internet exploded instantly. Half the boxing world called it a circus. The other half called it the most fascinating heavyweight event in years. And honestly, both sides had a point.
Just Peter Aerts, just a sea of killers. Rico Verhoeven, the guy who's the champ right now.
He's the man.
Oh, he's an animal. He's an animal.
Remember that guy that he beat that guy that was killing everybody? What's that Muslim guy? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
The big crazy guy. He was
Badr
killing,
Hari.
Yeah, he was killing everybody.
Yes. Badr Hari dropped him twice. He was still in that fight.
Oh, he's a bad...
Badr Hari's a dangerous guy. He's kill or be killed. That guy is just die on the field. Reckless. He's wired
reckless.
different. Yeah, he comes for blood.
But this is where the story changes completely. While everyone online debated whether the matchup was legitimate, Mike Tyson had already made up his mind. And when Tyson truly believes in a fighter, people pay attention. Tyson described Verhoeven as an absolute beast. He talked about the 11-year reign, the 13 title defenses, the terrifying power carried inside a 270-pound body that moves like a cruiserweight. He spoke about the psychological pressure of standing in front of someone that large, how sheer size alone can disrupt timing before punches are even thrown. And when a man like Mike Tyson, someone who knocked out 44 professional opponents, tells you another heavyweight possesses true one-punch finishing power, you listen. But Tyson's involvement went far beyond interviews and sound bites. He stepped directly into camp. Raw footage from training shows Tyson personally drilling Verhoeven on the exact weaknesses analysts believed Usyk would target. Footwork, head movement, using the jab to measure distance instead of loading up for power, learning how to become a moving target instead of a stationary giant. Those details matter because Usyk is unlike anything Verhoeven has ever faced inside a kickboxing ring. Tyson understands this better than almost anyone alive. He understands what happens when a massive heavyweight faces a smaller technical genius. And what makes this entire situation feel surreal is the idea itself. One of the greatest heavyweight punchers in history passing his knowledge to a man trying to become the next terrifying heavyweight force.
You beat that guy was killing everybody.
Good, brother. Champion. You're good? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Rico's like so elite with everything. Absolutely unbelievable kicker.
He's an elite kickboxer. He trained at my gym in LA. When I had my gym in LA, his trainer came when he did my podcast and he had a workout session. And man, his workout sessions are crazy. It's so cardio intensive. They're doing like sprints on the treadmill and they run to the heavy bag, sprints on the heavy bag, run back to the treadmill. I was like, damn, like watching that, I was like, no wonder why this guy has a crazy gas tank. Glory's amazing, man.
What stands out most in the training footage is how coachable Verhoeven looks. You would expect a man who ruled heavyweight kickboxing for over a decade to walk into boxing carrying a huge ego, but that's not what's happening. He's arriving early, drilling fundamentals repeatedly, listening carefully, training with the focus of someone who fully understands he is entering unfamiliar territory. Instead of dismissing boxing, he's respecting it completely. And according to Tyson, that mentality was the first thing that impressed him. Ironically, it's also the same trait that made Tyson himself so dangerous during his prime. The willingness to keep learning even when the world already considers you elite.
Quick update, just arrived here in London Friday. Came down here for a few days, getting everything sorted, going back to see Paddington Station in the back, and going home, and then back to work. We've been away 3 months in training camps, and now we're off again to the biggest training camp, which is Oleksandr Usyk, Rico Verhoeven in Egypt at the pyramids. It's going to be a great night. A lot of hard work to be done. But two great people and two great champions in their own right. What a privilege! Looking forward to this camp, and God will decide whatever happens. And but all the very best, and onwards we go. So 3 months away in training camps in Spain and Holland, and now back to Holland for another 3 month training camp. Boxing. All the very best.
And regardless of where you stand on the matchmaking, whether you agree with Fabio Wardley or believe Mike Tyson sees something real, one fact remains: you cannot look away from this fight. Because the alternative scenario is terrifyingly possible. Round 3. One clean right hand from Rico Verhoeven. Oleksandr Usyk crashing to the canvas. The undefeated reign ending instantly beneath the lights of Egypt. And overnight, heavyweight boxing changes completely. That's what Tyson saw the moment he entered that training camp. Not a gimmick. Not a confused kickboxer pretending to be a boxer. He saw a man physically gifted enough, powerful enough, and now coached well enough to potentially change the entire heavyweight division with one punch. And right now, all the right people are standing inside that gym helping him try.